straight to the point.
Exactly. What else you think? What you said? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. There we go, loud and clear.
Welcome to the East Coast Trades Podcast. Let's get it rolling.
You know.
Alright guys, so you have here John Gugel, owner of Gugel Painting LLC, creator, along with our partner here, Nathan
Stone.
Norcutt of East Coast Trades Podcast. So today's our first episode. Really exciting stuff. Me and Nate spent, probably an hour and a half so far, Nate, trying to get our theme jingle put together and figure out all of our audio for one last time to start recording this. So, it's pretty exciting. You guys are getting to witness firsthand the first ever podcast to be produced by East Coast Trades Podcast. So, I really hope you guys enjoy this episode. Today's episode is going to be based on basically how important social platforms are to your business, especially within trades. We just see the benefits of how we utilize it within our own company, but also just in general, any type of business. I mean, social platforms are essential now, especially to cater to the up-and-coming age group, along with the millennials and below. So it's definitely essential. That's a topic we will touch on and most likely start this podcast with. But in addition to that, we're also going to talk about how I started the business, why I got into painting and the trades of painting, along with custom carpentry and finished carpentry work. And also how Nate came aboard and became an employee of Gugel Painting LLC, and his experience so far with the company and what we're planning on doing moving forward, along with the podcast itself. So before we get into all that, I'd like to tell you what we're doing with the podcast and why we decided to create this podcast. The biggest thing is we really want to keep expanding our horizons within the social platforms, and a podcast nowadays is definitely a phenomenal avenue. I think it's essential to have in addition to every other marketing platform that you can be on from a social standpoint. And reality, we really want to expose other companies, and not just ourselves. So we're going to be bringing on a ton of companies, especially within the trades, but any company in general. I mean, if there's anyone that has created a business and that owner wants to come on and talk about what they are providing as a service or product, and just what they're offering, we want them on here because 9 times out of 10 they're loving what they do, and it takes a specific individual to follow their dreams and take the risk of starting a company, and going through the trials and tribulations that come with that platform. So really excited. We have a phenomenal list of many individuals who told us they would love to be on our show. So hopefully this first episode goes well and we can keep bringing more content to you guys. And with that, I said, what do you think? Do we start with social platforms and how, I guess, essential it really is to have them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's start it out. I'm going to let you talk, Nate, because I was a little handful,
That was a handful by you. No,
That's a
that's
handful.
okay. Yeah, that's how we have to, introduce our first podcast.
Yeah.
Right? Google, East Coast Trades Podcast. So, social media is being beneficial to companies is definitely a thing. It definitely benefits companies. It's a great way for marketing and showing an example of your work. And, for the customer, they're going to be capable of, just deciding whose work is honestly better. I mean, like, if you see someone who's, the only painting company that's posting good work, they're going to see if there's any other companies out there. I mean, like, we're basically the first-hand, I guess, referral I guess, to the customer's eye. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think the content is good regardless for the company's benefit.
Yeah,
So forth.
I think you stating that. I mean, you sort of hit it on the head when hit the nail on the head when you talk about the factor that it really exposes you. It shows you what type of company you are, especially if you put good content out in the sense of you're capturing the essentials, really showing people what's involved in your work, why they're paying for what they pay for, right?
Yeah.
That's key. I mean, you can just post a picture of something, and might not even be your work. And you're like, what are you posting on your platform? I mean, so one of the biggest things when utilizing these platforms is you have to be truthful of what you post, right? You have to show your actual work and what you're doing, your actual product, your service, whatever it may be. But the biggest thing is really having the good content, exposing those key elements, as I said, like really what goes into why your service is so good or why your business product is so good, right? That is essential. And for you to differentiate yourself from other companies, especially advertising on these platforms, you want to bring what makes you different. And that's going to be the character of your company itself, so the culture, the type of service offerings that you provide and what comes with those offerings, along with the product. What makes your product different? What capabilities does it have that other products might not have within your market? There's so many different avenues that you need to make sure you're touching on the key points that differentiate you. And if you can do that, you have the capability of making yourself a certain type of option for a customer where, yeah, you might be in the same industry, right? You might be in the same market, or you might offer the same type of product or service, but you're still differentiating because you're bringing additives or differentiators that people are like, oh, this fits me better than this company. I mean, every company's going to be a better fit for somebody else. And the perfect example, right, is just with our business. We're not the cheapest company you're going to run across when it comes to pricing, but we're also not the most expensive. We really put our pricing structure at a point where it makes out for what we offer as a service. So our customers make out really well and they get what they deserve on the penny that they spend with us. But in the same time, we're receiving what we need so that we're staying profitable and we can keep innovating, keep making our company better, and keep making our services better so we can be there for the next year and so on. So we really take a huge analytical standpoint on that, of a view, to make sure we're where we need to be with our numbers. But then also from a standpoint of growth with our company and where we want to be. And the most important aspect is treating the customer the best way possible. And that's our most important concern of our company, is giving the best service and making sure that we take care of our customers the best way we possibly can. So with these platforms, you have so much opportunity to depict these things and put it out there so people can see it firsthand. It's really like your own referral. I mean, like the best referral, as you can always hear, is that cliche saying, word of mouth is the best marketing. It's free, and it's coming from the best source possible. It's most likely coming from one of your friends, somebody you know well.
Yeah, I mean, it's free. I mean, you can put money into advertisement, but overall, if you get like a widely known name, or if you just so happen to get a popular post and it starts to bring attention to your page, you get likes, follows, this, and that.
One thing, I don't want to cut you off, but one thing I do want to point out is I love when people say it's free, right? Like I said, it's that cliche saying, oh, it's free. You're really not. The thing is, though, it's never free. Word of mouth is important because you can have bad word of mouth, which doesn't draw you business. You can have good word of mouth. And how do you create that? You create that by giving phenomenal results, right?
Absolutely.
Which comes with hard work, a lot of investment, financially, physically, right? So that's time, effort, mentally. A lot of mental goes through dedicating so much to actually just really making the craft of what you do perfect, right? So, is it really free? No.
Well, I guess
Essentially, it's not.
not the work or an energy behind the post that you
Right.
put on your account was free, but it is a source
But you're
for a
not
company
paying.
that already does that,
Yeah.
that has a platform to provide
Oh, correct.
such work.
Yeah,
and projects that they've finished.
and like you said, I mean, social platforms for sure. I mean, it's already there for you to utilize.
There's no better way. Like no one wants to type in a website link into the search bar.
Yep.
And go on your website that takes forever to build.
Yeah.
And put
It's
a
like a
layout on.
dinosaur.
And yeah, websites are good. Don't get me wrong, but and it's hard to keep updated. It's hard to replace those pictures with new work and keep it going. Like Instagram, you just go on your phone, you download it, you make yourself as a business figure.
Yep.
Local
It's just
business
more
or
user
whatever.
friendly.
It's just so user friendly.
You know, like the capabilities of it. It's just so
Even
much.
Facebook, like
It's just it's ease, it's sense of ease. You know, you go on like you say, you go on a website. You either gotta have a third party company create it for you, and then you're going back and forth over the phone how you want to develop it, or you make it yourself, and it's so time consuming because everything is tedious. You know, one little thing could change the whole description of what the page looks like. You know, and just lining up the borders and everything. It's so time consuming. When you're running an entire company, you might dedicate a team for it, but now you're paying for it. Meanwhile, you go on Instagram. I spend an hour in the morning, an hour at night, and I'm making posts through my additional, creating apps that I have that you can make cool videos and content with, or you can just create it right there on the platform. I mean, everything doesn't have to have cool effects, and sometimes it's just putting the plain, simple, what project are you on today, right?
Yeah.
What are you putting through your process? Take
be
a quick video.
transparent as possible.
Yeah, like somebody has a package that they put a new product in of theirs and they're shipping it out. You just picking up that product, showing you how you package that product, right there can differentiate how you are delivering your packages versus, competitor A and B. Right? They say, oh, I just love how this product comes in this package. Like Apple. Apple's a phenomenal example. You see how they package.
Everything's
It's just fits perfect fit. It's like the package itself is like I would pay $15 for.
Takes a lot of thought
You know?
behind that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like there's so many avenues of like, all right, how are you going to present it? How are you presenting yourself? How are you presenting your company? And the best part is these social platforms make it so easy. It just takes time, and if you're willing to put it in, it is going to be tremendous outcome of reimbursement to what you're doing. It's going to pay dividends tenfold, and I think it's essential. I mean, we see it with our own company. I get 2 to 3 calls a week, and that's a minimum from our social platforms. And, that's not including every other avenue that we have with the company. I mean, obviously, we have our real estate agents that we work with. We have our our supplier companies that refer us to customers and give us great deals to provide phenomenal products and services that we provide. We work with different type of complexes that house individuals for certain type of medical benefits and everything else that comes with certain housing units for individuals for their certain circumstances that they have. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, the trucks that we advertise with, the marketing of our signs or apparel that our workers wear or individuals that just know our company and like to wear our products. There's just so many avenues that you can take to market. But one of the most essential and where everyone's eyes are at least an hour a day is these social platforms. I mean, I don't know one person that's not looking at their phone.
Yeah, it's a
really
shame.
rare. It is. I mean, at the end of the day, it's sad in the sense that you would wish we reduced that time on the screen. But at the end of the day, we also look at it and go,
it's essential because
it's essential.
I mean, I guess there's no turning back, but it's also like content you give out. I mean, like there's a market for the work tradesmen are doing. I mean, like you will hop up on Instagram one day and you see 600,000 likes on a video of a guy bricklaying or something. It's insane, and like
And
that comes
satisfying.
from an Instagram account, and it's just like I'm not saying that you're trying to get that viral post, but it just wouldn't hurt. It's just like there is people enjoy watching this. Like,
Of course.
and there's an algorithm for it. You go on Facebook, and I found myself, like, I'll click on a bricklaying video, or I'll click on someone working on a diesel machine, and next thing you know, I'm 50 videos down of seeing that work, or, something in that aspect, So, it's definitely a market for it, and it's, it's something for local work, local customers to go to your page, from referrals, like, I'll check them out, this and that, like, they did my house, here's their work, and you're just gonna get endless examples of all the work you do from week to week, so
Yeah,
it's important.
it's really important, and I feel like you just touching on that. Like, the best part, and as you said, you know, it speaks for itself. It's right there, especially if you put good content out. You get a decent film with a good camera. Like, you don't need all these fancy equipment.
His iPhone.
You don't need to. All you need is a nice iPhone with a decent camera. And you can go out there and show so much of your business that many people have no clue about, or extremely just oblivious to what goes beyond those closed doors within your company. And I think if you expose more of that, people will start to realize that they can justify a price that you may provide within your product or service. And they go, well, I see why they're charging what they're charging, because this is how much time goes into what they do. This is the effort, the commitment,
Professionalism of it,
and the professionalism. Yeah,
behind the work.
for sure. So if you're able to put that out there, you're already selling yourself. I mean, it's amazing. These calls I get from these platforms, half the time, I don't even have to give a price. It's, hey, John, when can you come out? We love what you guys do. Whatever it is, we can't wait to get you guys started, on our projects. Like, we're really looking for you guys to, coming out here as soon as you possibly can. And there was no price given. Like, you want to talk about selling better, you want to talk about selling more efficient. I know that's always a big thing on companies' minds is, how can we sell quicker? How can we sell better? Just talk about how well your product is and present it. Put it out there for everyone to see. And what's the best place to do it? It's right there on these platforms. Like I said, everyone's eyes are glued to these things, at least an hour a day. So for you not to expose yourself on these platforms and try to stick in the traditional ways of doing commercials, radio, a lot of that stuff is a dying breed. I mean, everything's, the radios, you look at it, you're like, everything's being streamed. It's all on these platforms with Spotify, Apple Music, and it's just, you look at where things are going, you have to be adaptable and you have to innovate, and that's what leads companies to be successful is, you want to set the trend, but you also want to be a part of the trend if you haven't set it yet, and these platforms are a way to do it for sure.
That's just things get filtered out as time goes on, and it's like, if you just don't want to hop, invest your time into something that's almost essential, because you will have competition, and and I mean, not that some companies might have just such a good reputation out there or such a good set of work that they don't have to do that, but if you're starting out, it's almost essential.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it is. I'm so glad you brought that up, because starting a company, this is no better way to get the best exposure possible.
Yeah.
And the thing is, with the followers, you are going to have to pay for ads. You might have to put $100 out, to reach 20,000 contestants or followers, whatever you want to put out, But, $100 every 2 weeks, $200 a month, that's going to draw in a lot of business, and that's going to pay for itself. And it's worth it. You don't have to pay these crazy advertising, fees and everything else. They give you options that are affordable. And as I said, I mean, for me, I wake up every morning, I do like an hour creating my videos. I have really cool apps that we use to create videos with great soundtracks, great editing options. And you can buy them really cheap, $21 a month. For the whole year, you might pay $80 for the app. And this stuff just pays itself back, if you use it correctly and you invest the time into it. And I was oblivious to it all. I never used any of it. I just had the imaginative mind of what I want to show, what I thought would be really cool for people to see. But overall, these apps are phenomenal, and they really can tag along with your creativity and your innovative side for sure. They make it really easy and acceptable to do. So definitely go out there, do your research, see what fits your business well, but get on these platforms. If you're a new company, I can't, Nate really just sealed the deal on that one, where if you're starting out, it's essential. You got to have it. So that's what we wanted to touch on today, just for the social platforms. And just to name them off to you, TikTok is being used tremendously now. It's a huge platform for exposure. Great little short clips, satisfying clips are always the best to post on there. You got Reels, that's really similar. That's on Instagram. Utilize that. Instagram itself is just one of the best, I would say, right?
Yeah,
What do you think the
Facebook's
best one?
next.
Facebook for sure. Um, Twitter's not bad. You can put little things about what you're doing with your company, events, things like that. I would say that's always a great platform to just put a little bit of verbiage out there. And, what else you got?
I mean, just like tutorial
YouTube,
vids. I mean,
yeah.
like even if you just want to be that guy who has enough time to be on the job and physically explain what you're doing and show the process well described, and you have enough time to edit the video, post that on YouTube.
Definitely.
Have a YouTube account and watch people. I mean, that's just I mean, it's just how serious you want to be about it. I mean, like if you do get a great following, I mean, that's just another avenue of making money, and like another way. The possibilities are endless once you reach the social media aspect.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you're
It's
talking.
not guaranteed, but it's still
Yeah.
instant example of your work.
For sure, and the exposure. I mean, the eyes that's put to these platforms are just. There's nothing like it. I mean, you're talking hundreds of millions, if not billions, of views and plays. So, if you're not getting a part of that and taking a piece, it's a little silly not to take advantage of these opportunities. So, I think with that, it's good leeway into how we actually started the company, and
Yeah. What got you into this?
uh, you know, it's a great question.
Why'd you start it?
The biggest thing, I mean, going back, we were talking about this before we started, but I got into this because it was a family handed down trade. My grandfather was a union painter. My father was a union painter. They both started when they were extremely young. I mean, I don't know really how old my grandpa was when he started, but my dad, he started at the age of I think 16, 17,
Mm-hmm.
cleaning cars off when they would ride through the bridges. They started out on the bridges. They were bridge painters, and that was his first job, making a lot of money.
You're cleaning paint off the cars, right?
Yep, cleaning paint off the car.
Overspray.
He actually might have been younger than that. I think he said he was only
I thought I could
like 14,
14,
right?
13.
Yeah, so he was 14 years old, had more money than the teachers did in class, and and they were swiping cars off and handing buckets and running supplies to these guys who's on the bridge. So it was really cool in that sense.
Different world. Man.
Yeah, different world back then for sure. And that's how I started. I had the luxury to grow up with somebody that instilled hard work into me at a young age. Made me go with them to work to do side jobs every weekend, starting in 7th grade. I was in 7th grade, probably around that same age, right? 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
And it was history ever since, man. I wake up. If I wanted a video game that weekend, he said, "All right, well, you're coming to work with me." And we go buy the video game after full days of work, and kids are going out having fun playing on their bikes, going to sporting events. If I want to do sporting events and I wanted new cleats, we're working. And that's what it was, and it showed me that nothing's given to you. You have to work for what you want, and that's how I started. And I think having that foundation is key, and I'm grateful for it because I know a lot of people don't have that opportunity. I know a lot of people don't have figures like that in their life, and the ones that can create something of their own like this, a business, I give all the props off to him because, I to this day I sit here and I think, if it wasn't for him to push me in this direction, where would I be?
Right.
Would I just be sitting in a corporate office doing a job I really hate? And it's a highly likability that could have been a possibility for me to do. And I'm just really grateful for it. So that's how I started. 7th grade. When you're young like that too, you don't have the maturity level of really understanding everything in the full complexity of how everything works, and you're really just sitting there observing. But that's the best part. As we stated, before we got on this podcast, when you're young, you're so innovative and your mind's clear. You have a clear conscience for the most part because you don't have all these things that you get when you're older, being stressed out with financials, relationships, just professions. You're trying to develop yourself as an adult. There's so much things that come with it, and when you're younger, you have so much opportunity just to absorb everything, and I think that was a really key essential thing was starting it when I was young. When the mind's clear and you're innovative. So, like I said, being young like that, I would sit there, observe what my dad would do. I would help hand tools, and every year, you learn more, keep doing more. And the thing was, and what I was really lucky, having my dad in this industry, he also would work with many other people. And the thing I was lucky, my uncle would do heating and air. I used to work with him on the weekends or in the summer. If I wasn't working with him and he didn't have work for me, I would work with a licensed electrician down the street. If I wasn't working with him, I was working with two guys that they're a phenomenal company, and we're going to do a nice little plug right now on them. They're J&J Enterprises from South Jersey, a phenomenal general contractor. These guys do work that, it's far from none. Like nobody, few companies can really do what they do in the sense of, finished product and overall services, what they provide. So we're a painter for them to finish their work, and it's an honor to do that. So I started with them when their company wasn't even started, and they were flipping homes, and I learned a ton from them. Same with them; they were union laborers, and I got to learn a tremendous amount from them as well. Like I said, in addition to whatever work was out there in the trades, I did it, man, and I had the luxury to learn from all these different companies on how to manage employees right, how not to, what industry was the best, and what would suit me well. And obviously it was painting, going back to my roots. And I seen the business model knowing that there's so much opportunity for it to really develop it into a professional avenue and a service that's an option and available for people. And, and the platforms of social media, the presence of great content for painting. It's really not out there. You have to travel all over the country to really find good pages and really good content. So I think this is an avenue that I keep pushing it out there. I want people to really showcase what they have as a service, even if it's other painting companies. We differentiate ourselves just from culture and who we are and what we can provide within our character.
You almost you want more painting companies to provide, get involved into social media so you can create a bigger platform, and then once competition creates, that's when the examples of the work start to differentiate itself, and and then it filters itself out.
Correct. Yeah, and you see your price margin. You see your price.
Yeah.
You see what you're paying for.
Mm-hmm.
So that, like I said, that's how I got into it, and then I really had a full scope of what to do right, what to do wrong. And obviously I learned that every day, as I innovate and do things that I haven't seen done before from other companies, or just in, different avenues that I can learn from. Because not only did I learn at a young age of doing this trade, I had the luxury of working in a Fortune 10 company and going to school and getting my bachelor's degree as well. And the thing is, that's how this company started. I started because I grew up in a family where they felt that college education was really important because they didn't have it. And they see where they came from, they see how they are now, and, we don't have much, before I got the company to where it's at, living paycheck by paycheck, weeks where there's no electric, you're barely making your mortgage, 3 mortgages behind. So they seen that, and they're like, you need to go to school. You need to find, a career that's going to pay you well. You don't have to stress over finances, and it can bring a huge burden if that's what you want to focus on, right? And there's a lot I learned from that, but the biggest thing is that's what made me start the company. I went to school. Ended up going to school, Newman University, great university. I'm so grateful for all of the professors there, the administrators, the nuns that really helped me, with my 2 years there. They actually let me stay there for a whole another year, my second year, because I told them I couldn't stay because of the financial issues I was running into, and they actually gave me grants to pay for me there for my second year.
That's
So
awesome.
forever grateful for that, and it allowed me to get into Rowan University because my sophomore year is when I decided it was really based on just fear. I didn't know what else I would do. I'm like, if I'm not going to college, what do I do? Like work at a fast food place, or do I go back to these companies where I'm just getting paid underneath the table, making only $100 a day? Like what do I do? Type of avenue. And I said, you know what? Let me make a business. Let me change working side jobs and only doing side jobs and make it into a legitimate company. So now that my father has opportunity to get projects that are worth his while, we can actually have better income coming in from that standpoint. And then also I can still pursue my college degree. And the funniest part, and this is one thing I really want to touch on, when you get to that point, like I got to that point and I was like, man, like, I felt like I was done, like it's pointless. Like, what the hell am I doing here? Mm-hmm. Nothing I do works. I'm hitting my head against a brick wall. Like, forget about it. Like, life sucks. I'm over it. Like,
Stagnation, stagnant.
Yeah, and you're like, you don't even want to go anywhere. And the craziest part, so I was like, all right, screw it. Coming home, starting a company. Came home. No clue what I was doing starting a company. I had no one showing me what to do. I was starting a company up, right? I had no education on it. I'm just learning all this shit, reading online. All right, what do you need to start a business in New Jersey? What do you need to start a construction business in New Jersey, right? Learning all this stuff, calling up these different companies, getting prices for things that I'm like, all right, reading through the descriptions of, all right, what's a business license? Like, what insurance? How much insurance do you need? Oh, you need $500,000 liability. Okay, what do you need of liability? What's the insurance policy should cover so you're actually protected? Okay, you're learning all these things, right? So much time being invested into these things. So you finally get that. You're like, cool. You get the foundation. You're like, man, I spent all this money on all these insurance policies, these registrations, these licensing that we need, right? And you're like, all right, now where do we go? Do we keep operating as a side business, or do we actually start, are we actually going to start developing this into a company? You're like,
Full throttle.
yeah, you got to say, oh, let's make it into a company. So as I get in this full-fledged for the company, I go work out at a gym. I come back home. I apply for in-state schools. I get real lucky. I get an acceptance letter from Rowan University. Hey, John, can't wait to have you aboard. We're going to start you out in social sciences and see where we can take you from there. I get right into business. I tell my advisor, I get there, I said, look, I want to be in business. Before we get even into the school, like I said, I get accepted. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but how am I going to, like, all right, I'm in state. I'm still getting an academic scholarship. I got the DeMarco Golf Scholarship, best foundation, phenomenal golf tournament that they hold every year. What was it, 43rd this year?
42nd?
42nd. Yeah, we have the thing up here. Let's see, it's actually right here.
I think it's the 42nd.
I just want to put that out there because this was a great thing to be a part of. It was our first year I actually got to sponsor it from receiving it my senior year of high school, so it really felt good to give back to them for everything that they gave to me. But yeah, this would be their 42nd.
42nd.
It's a phenomenal
42.
stepping stone to get across, and that's astonishing to be a 42nd golf tournament fundraiser, which for me at the time I was awarded around, I think it was like $20,000, $25,000. So I mean that is a lot of money, and that definitely contributed to me staying in school, me helping save my money to invest to start my company. So can't thank Mr. and Mrs. DeMarco enough. Phenomenal foundation. Can't thank everyone that's a part of that foundation. So that's something that if you do listen to this, be aware of it. Try to contribute to it next year. Maybe play in a tournament if you play golf. Do a donation. But really great, just program altogether. Great family to be a part of, and I'm always thankful for that. But with that, like I said, I had the scholarships. I was like, all right, most of my education is paid for, but I still had to come up with some money, to still go there. I had to come up with like $2,000 a semester. So I'm like, all right, well, go back to the drawing board of where did I go? What am I doing work wise? And I go back to the gym that's close to home. I start working out with one of my best friends that I grew up with. You know, Matt, right? So,
Oh yeah.
so come back home, with Matt, and we start working out. He develops a great relationship with this guy who was a finance manager in a Fortune 10 company that I eventually got hired for, right? He's seen that I started my own company. He's seen that I was going to school for business management, and he's seen, the way I worked out in the gym, and, I got to talk with him. He, got to know who I was and what I was about, and he offered me a part-time suit position in this Fortune, 10 company, and I was like, yeah, man, I'd love to. Like, at first when he approached me, I thought it was just an hourly job, making minimum wage, and, I thanked him for the opportunity, but I was like, look, I got my hands full of starting college back up. I just started my business, and it's like, it's a lot on my plate already, and to take that extra hourly job would just get in the way of me trying to grow my business, and get in the way of my work for school. And then he's like, well, look, actually this position I'm offering is actually really good pay. You get benefits, you get a 401k option, and we also give a contribution to your education. I'm like, man, this could be my ticket for me to pay for school, right? That's not me actually paying out of my pocket. I get to improve myself as a manager, as a supervisor, my business accolade, and I can apply it to my education. I'm like, it's a no-brainer, you know what I mean? Like, let's do it. So I end up doing everything, and when I tell you they're long weeks, they were long weeks. Like I said, honestly, I was getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep a day, and on the weekends, I would try to dedicate time to myself, my family, just because I would go stir crazy if not, because I was doing all the, things I had to do for work, what you have to do for after work for your job. 4 or 5 hours I was putting into my business to keep everything legitimate, run my invoices, proposals, do my taxes, all my paperwork, my books, hours for my dad. Like, there's a lot of things going on. And then, obviously, schoolwork. So, there's a lot. So, on the weekend, you're just stacked with all this shit that you really couldn't get to during the week because you're already dedicating your time to everything else,
Yeah, sure.
So, as I state, you hit that wall, and you're like, where am I at? And all of a sudden, it just clicks, right? But still, it's the very beginning of all of it. But I was so excited. I'm like, holy shit, I got all these opportunities now. And I wasn't overwhelmed. I just wanted it. I'm like, look, this is going to allow me. But I could have been overwhelmed and said, I don't want to take that on. Nah, I don't want to do this. And I'll just focus on this, right? And not do nothing. So it's really, one thing I can put out there is it's really what you put into it. At the end of the day, it's what you're willing to learn. Like, I was never smart in school. Like, I wasn't, straight A student, nothing like that. I was mediocre at the time. I didn't even finish my SATs. I left the SATs. Like, I wasn't no academic. But when I got into school, because I knew I was paying for it, I fucking made sure I was engaged. I made sure I was putting everything forth I had to. And at the end of my education, when I started doing everything, it came to a point where I couldn't get, high B's, A's. Like, I was getting low B's, high C's, just pass, let's get it done, because I had bigger and better things to move on than just education.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, did you have to balance? I had to make that decision going through, but at the end of the day, I figured, what do I invest more time into? The education that's not going to pay for me to create this business, keep growing it, to get promoted within this company, or do I just make by in education and really excel into what really matters because I'm getting paid for it, right?
Right.
And that's going to be my career path moving forward. So I was fortunate enough, I was able to get everything done. Went through those crazy 2 years. Go into into this Fortune 10 company, and I get promoted at least once a year. I work throughout their entire finance department. Got to work in operations, seeing their finance department from a payroll, costs, profit side. Start working with their marketing team, their solutions teams, and then I work with the business development team. The business development manager took a huge liking to what I was helping them with and providing as materials for them to utilize. And he's like, I'd love you a part of our team. How about you come interview with us? So why not? Let's do it. Go with them. love it in there, right? Really cool things. I would run strategy calls, help, sales individuals win new business by bringing in every department that they could from a high level to give different options as solutions and products that we can offer and services.
Right.
And I learned so much on that just to bring teams together, right? Get all that together. And then I moved into the selling aspect because I seen it all from the inside. So why don't I apply all my knowledge of what I have inside and bring it to the outside and actually sell the services that we offer? Went out. I was one of the top salesmen in the country for the most profitable product that they sold in their service, and made out really well. Got to a point where the corporate malarkey was getting outrageous. The expectations were unrealistic. The time, life work balance wasn't there at all. I was working like doctor hours, not getting paid doctor money. I was always expected to be on call. It was crazy. And to me, I'm like, is this juice worth the squeeze? And it wasn't. And every day, and that's the thing. Like, the thing you want most is always going to stick with you. It's going to be in the back of your head. And every day, I kept thinking, like, man, what I could be doing right now with my business, right? All the time I'm putting into this position. What would it look like if I could dedicate 16-hour days into my business versus this other company I'm in? I'm like, so it was always something itching me, too, in the background. Like, yeah, even though I'm successful in this business, I got promoted at least once or twice a year. One of the youngest in the position. One of the most successful for the first time ever doing the position. Like, there's big things for me to, like, I could stay here and still make out well, but am I going to be happy, right? And that was my biggest thing. I wasn't happy. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I had to defend myself like a lawyer to just explain what I was doing. It was micromanaged to the T. It wasn't for me. That wasn't the culture for me.
Yeah.
And
not for most people.
Yeah, it really isn't. I don't think it should be. I don't think companies should be ran that way. And they lost a lot of good people. But at the end of the day, I'm grateful for it because I would not land myself here. I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have the things I have now, and the opportunity that I'm seeing every day, and what makes me wake up before my alarm clock goes off. You know what I mean? So, as much as it sucks to say, oh, I left this great company that was known to be a great company at a time, before, but it's not all about the money. You know what I mean? It's not about the money. I was making a lot of money. Well, it's not all about the money. At the end of the day, it's what you love to do, and I think for me that was the biggest eye opener. It was like, look, here's a cool to have like nice cars. Look, they don't last, and if you can't enjoy what you do every day to appreciate those things, what the hell are you getting them in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, for me, I'm just like, this ain't worth it. Like, what the hell am I doing with my life? I was so stressed out, man. I would be getting sick, like, because how stressed I was.
Yeah, you're not sleeping.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. So
You need that 6 hours.
yeah, so I got to the point where I'm leaving the company. I tried another company. It was a small private company for like 8 months. Really cool, real personal company. I'm like, this is something I would want to work for. Like it's everyone's real nice to each other. The opportunity is more. You're treated as a human being. You're not treated as a number, right? Expectations are realistic. I just left though because there was things that didn't align, and I just seen the opportunity, in my own company where I'm like, it's just time. I had to take the leap, grow a pair, and build the courage to be like, look, I'm gonna risk it because that's a scary thing. That was the scariest was the fact that I knew my family was depending on me to at least have a $50,000 salary income to uphold most of the bills in the house. Me leaving, I mean, we're in real trouble. So that was a huge thing where I'm like, do I take this risk? Because all this stuff here now, all this social platforms that I created, the branding that I created, these trucks that have all the marketing on them, the additional avenues of networks that we created with our suppliers, our realtors that we work with, right? All the certain housing units that we do work for that are commercial, these other commercial contacts that we have. None of this stuff was here. You know what I mean? And none of it was developed truly as a professional standpoint until I invested, 100% of my time into the company last year around this time. So it was a scary thing, man. And if I can give any motivation to anyone, my biggest thing is don't wake up and do a job you fucking hate, because you're going to bring that home. You're going to bring that into the relationships that you have within your life, and you're never going to get what you want because you give what you receive. I truly believe it. They call it the law of attraction, and to me, I 100% stand by it. And you really do. You get what you provide into this world. And for me, I see myself. I was being a numb, non-innovative person, stressed out, not who I was. And I knew if I was going to take the risk, I might as well do it. And I looked at the way. I looked at the way that, I was young, I was fortunate. There's not many people that run a business could say their retirements are pretty much set up. Like that was another thing I got from working at a company like that. But overall, my biggest thing was, taking that risk, man. Taking that leap and just doing it. It's just do it. If your mind's on that shit every day and you're putting time in, you're investing time, you're doing your research, just make the move. You have to invest a lot in the beginning. I'm telling you right now, you're gonna look at your account and you're like, oh man, like I can't believe I invested this, and it all pays off. I mean, they say after your 7 year, not even. It's like after your 4th year, they say you'll be a successful company, right? Whatever it may be.
Yeah, I think it's 7.
4th or 7, doesn't matter. I mean, we've been doing this for 17 years. As like starting our foundation of referrals of word by mouth and everything else. But 8 years of legitimate business where we're on the books, we're doing everything professionally, we're doing everything correct, and that's the biggest thing. And like I said, do it. I'm young. I'm 27 years old. I have a lot to learn, but at the end of the day, age is a number. It is up to you of how much time you want to put into something, how you utilize your time, and what avenues you're willing to take to grow yourself as an individual to get you where you want to be. Like all these avenues I took without no knowledge. Like I had no knowledge about that company that I went to. I had no knowledge of finance. A lot of that shit was oblivious to me, and I'm like, it's a whole new chapter.
Just jumped in.
Jumped in and did it. So. And the same with all these other trades. Like it's like I could have sat at home and never worked with electricians. I could never work with roofers. Do all this extra carpentry work that we don't provide as a service within our company. Like there's so much stuff, plumbing, and I'm like, this stuff all gave me perspective on not only how to innovate better within my company and my trade, but just how to treat people better. How to operate your conversation better. Navigate that conversation. There's so much that goes to it, and you only get that by just diving in and getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, you definitely also, you had a lot of trials and, trials to, figure out what goes behind the business. College education definitely helps. That definitely teaches you, time management, when to show up on time, this and that, do your tasks. But, working for a company like that definitely gives you some confidence to, do your own business. And
for sure. As you said, it's like a trial.
Yeah, it's a trial.
Because it's really what it's like. When I was at that company, selling for that company, I dealt with so many businesses. And I've seen so many different businesses in so many different industries where I'm like, oh, this is how they run their company. I like what they're doing here. Oh, that's cool. I want to do that, though, because I see the effects of it. Oh, this is amazing. This is something that's really cool. And this can be incorporated into the trades. Or this could be incorporated into a law firm. And they're doing it over at a logistics, company that's shipping out T-shirts and boxes. There's so many different avenues that you can take to differentiate yourself as a business. And it doesn't just have to align within your industry. And working at that company, going to college, as you said, college is huge. And the biggest thing I would say, and what you should take away from college, personally, we were talking about it. I think it's too expensive. I think there needs to be better options and more accessible options to people. If it's really important and it can better our society, if that education is keen to doing that, it should be available to people at a better rate and really accessibility.
College is a mess, man.
Yeah, to me, is it a great business? It's a business for them, and it's great for corporations, as I was stating.
Yeah, it's not necessarily needed for, creating a small business involving trades, obviously.
Definitely not.
You don't need an ounce of education for any of that, but...
And I'm not lying to you, even in the corporate world. Dude, I learned so much just in the job. So much.
I guess that's the We can get real deep into that, but that's
Yeah.
not the main focus. With college, that's, I guess, the main focus is to keep
Definitely.
us blind to that.
But
You do better getting paid and learning rather than paying someone else to fucking learn their agenda. You know what I'm saying?
exactly. And at the end of the day, like I said, that could be a whole nother topic of
Yeah, a
discussion.
whole
but
nother topic.
But the thing is, one thing to definitely get out of college, and I'm so grateful that I did it. What I would do if you asked me if I did it differently, I know you asked me that before we recorded here, but one thing I would have done differently, definitely would have been the factor that I would have went to accounting school, saved a lot of money, made sure,
Accounting?
yeah,
Yeah.
accounting college,
Yeah.
Do in-state, really
Mhm.
save versus going away to a 4 year
Get
because
associates and then
exactly because
something.
you can. That's the time for trial and error. Like I said, I never had parents that went to school, and they told me it was something I had to do to be successful. And you get dropped out of senior year of high school. You're like, all right, 17, 18 years old. You're like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I have no clue about this. You're oblivious. You go to these advisors that you would think are sales reps for school, put you in classes you don't need if you tell them, hey, this is the career path I want to take. And they're like, oh, well, we're going to give you extra just so you can broaden your aspirations and your experiences. You might want to change your mind, right? Like, yeah, it's nice if you have the money for it. If not, just put me in the direction I'm trying to go to. And if I fail at the very end and figure it's not what I want to do, that's on me, and maybe I have to go back and do it again. But don't start me off on the wrong foot, So that's a big issue there. But the biggest thing, like I said, the best thing to get away and get out of college is the networking. I mean, there's not a better opportunity that I can imagine where you're going to have so many different cultures, personalities, individuals, relationships, and just experiences that you can get in such a short period of time and all in one place. I mean, you're going to run into so many different people, and those individuals are going to have so much opportunity for you, especially if you align within their values, you align within their task of what they're trying to accomplish within their life. You will see each other cross paths. I mean, I've done this time and time again with so many good friends of mine that I developed throughout college. My friends that I grew up in high school with made friendships with people in college that I made friendships with. Like, it's amazing how it comes full circle. And that's one thing I can say is phenomenal about college. And I always recommend if you go away, network, put yourself out there, expose yourself.
Don't sit in your dorm and play Xbox.
Seriously,
Go out there and
don't
talk to people.
Don't waste your money or your parents' money, whoever's paying for your money.
That's one thing. That's just one thing you absolutely need to focus on. I guess in life is just talking to people.
Yeah, like you got, like especially
Network,
today.
market.
Like today you're stuck.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah, like you're stuck today where they want you to put a mask behind, on your face, and you can't show your expressions, and they don't want you socializing over a certain amount. Like, I mean,
They just want you to judge people and have a black and white conversation on social media. No, go out and have a conversation. Have a coffee with someone.
Exactly, and you can do it in a safe manner. And you can do it in a safe manner where it upholds to the standards that they want you at. But I mean, just go out there and go see people. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to be around individuals to really know what the hell's going on. You can't learn, as great as these platforms are, as we say, like you should be on these social platforms, advertise your business. The biggest thing is you got to go out and interact with people to really see what the hell is truly going on behind those screens.
The only way you're going to get people to, look at your page is when you interact with enough people to freaking even think about you.
Correct.
Referring your company. And, you're not going to get that not, talking to people and telling people what you do and be proud of what you do.
For sure, man. It's essential. And so that's what I would say to get out of college. Get that networking at the highest capability you possibly can, because that is the best thing you can get out of it. Because that's something they can't teach you in class. That's something that you honestly are not writing on a bill that you're paying for. And, it's really what you make out of it to make it worth your while.
But we're not sitting here saying it's essential, though.
No.
That's definitely not essential.
That's the thing. It's not essential. It really isn't.
Yeah.
When I sit here and I say it, I might take a handful of classes and say it correlated to me running my company. You know what I mean? Like, it's not essential. Like, the biggest thing of running a business and doing what you love is just knowing the ins and outs of what you do.
Yeah.
Know your trade, know your service, know your product. And honestly, you gotta love it, man. If you don't love it, yeah, you might be somewhat successful in the sense of finances,
If you don't love it, don't do it.
but I can tell you right now, if you don't love it, your culture's gonna say it. The people that work for you are gonna say it, and you might just be a money-driven company that, at the end of the day, you're gonna look back and go, "What the hell did I waste all my time for?" If you're an employee for that company or the owner, and you realize, man, I wasted all that time because I was just fixated on numbers, and I didn't really invest my time in relationships. I didn't invest my time in things that I loved, that would have challenged me, that would have opened up my eyes to certain different things. That's the biggest thing. Like, yeah, money is great, but if you have no motive to even utilize that money to buy things that, cool materialistic things, to share them with people, to really indulge in those things and tasks that you're doing every day that you love, and what the hell you buying them for? Why are you getting all that money in the bank account anyway? You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. Like I said, I come from, not really having much, and when I say it this way, I'm like, I'm happy either way. There's times where I was happy as pig and shit, and like I said, we didn't have electric for a week, and we're eating outside, grilling on the grill, putting ice in the cooler, putting our drinks on it, and we were having a blast. It's not, you've got to appreciate for what you have, because there's people that have it way worse than what you have. You know what I mean? So that's, to me, that's the biggest thing. You know what I mean? Like that's important for the most part. So if you're willing to do something like this, you want to, it's constantly in the back of your head, you're working a job you hate, take my advice. Go do what you love. Set yourself up. You don't have to do it right away. Save some money, buckle down, start investing if you haven't done so already in what you want to do and what you love. And really just engage in it, indulge in it. Don't waste your time on these platforms where you just scroll aimlessly all day long, right? Or you're watching Netflix, binge watching things, playing video games. Cut that shit out and start investing a little bit of time in these things that you want to do. And believe me, you'll get where you need to be. And it's not going to be easy. There's going to be so many trials and tribulations that you go through. It's crazy. Like, you go through this stuff every day where you're like, man, I feel like my wheels are just turning in the mud. Like, is this even worth what I'm doing? You'll have loved ones telling you, like, you're an idiot for doing what you're doing. Because they have no recollection of what your true vision is of the company and why you're doing what you're doing. A lot of things you can't even justify to people, what you invest in, what you put your money out towards, because they don't see what you really are aligning down the road and why you're putting this forth and forward. And that's only up to you. You're the only one that's going to have that vision. And it's fine to listen to people. It's fine to listen to naysayers, because some of them might have some reality and a little bit of truth, and you might have to, fine tune some things that you do. But believe me when I tell you, do not let people take you off the track of your vision, especially if it's different, especially if it really has true value and makes you happy, and you know that there's a lot of opportunity at the end. So that's one thing I can tell you. Like, you're gonna have people pulling you the fuck down, and they can be the closest people to you. They be like, they can say you don't dedicate enough time to them. You're always focused on this or that, but at the end of the day, if it's making you happy, you're making that relationship with those people 10 times better, because you're contributing more of that happiness, and eventually it's going to pay off, and they're going to see it when it's all fucking said and done, and it's all painted beautifully on a canvas for them, and they're like, man, look what you created, or look what you have done. And if it doesn't work out for you, well, I tell you what, the best thing is, you at least tried it, you had the balls to fucking commit to it, and I guarantee you it's not a waste of time. You're going to be able to take what you've done, you can take it either somewhere else in a new career, a new path, and you're going to grow from that. So if you feel like you didn't cut out to do what you wanted, it's going to allow you to do something later on down the road that you're going to figure out, maybe it was better, or it was better off to do. But at the end of the day, stick with what you want, stick with your passion, but put the work in so it's worth it, and it does work out for you. That's the way I would put it. And like I said, that's how I got started,
Yeah, man.
That's, to me, that's what it's all about. And, take it from here. I mean, look, you see where we're at now. None of this was here, man. We're sitting in the GP ranch. You can see a little bit of what we have. I mean, this was just studs on the wall about 8 months ago. So, I envision this place as a silo for me to bring my workers here, where I can enjoy myself to get work done. I can tuck myself away, focus on, the importance of life, the importance of the business, and really just have a place that is a part of my personality and reminds me of how I got here and what it's all about. So everything has a meaning. You know, and you realize what it pays off in dividends, or what it takes you to in the sense of your next level in life. But sometimes it doesn't tell you until, you know, a year after, 2 months later, who knows. But again, you know, we look around and we see what we have here, and this is just the beginning. You know, every time I get to new levels in my company, it's like it's just the beginning, and it's been phenomenal. You know, I got to bring on somebody like Nate. You know, the other guys that part of our crew, nobody had painting experience when they all came in. You know, I have a few other guys that work with us part time, and they had a painting experience. It really brings great value to our company to help, you know, get the jobs done that we need to get done. But, you know, now the force that we have, I would say about 70% never had experience with painting before they came here. And the coolest part about that is we get to mold them into the way that we believe great painters are made, but we also get to see their curiosity. We get to see their perspective of being brand new to something. And for that, I think that's the best way to develop employees. I think it just having someone that's open-minded to something and doesn't believe they already know everything, it's just a great avenue. And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't stop us from hiring people that already done the job and have a great experience. We have that as a part of our company as well. But a majority of what we brought on this year, you're talking about, you know, 70% of our crew never had experience. And it's amazing how they had adapt and took on, you know, policies and the procedures that we put in place, and really developed themselves as, you know, great painters right now. And it's just every day to get better and better. So, you know, from there, I mean, Nate, you tell me what you think. I mean, you could say I'm completely wrong. I don't know, but that's the way I see it from my standpoint, anyway.
No, I mean, joining a company like this, I always wanted to do a trade. I always wanted to work my hands. I just didn't know how to really start. There was always this like confusion with like the union, like you gotta know someone, you gotta find a way in, this and that. I didn't really have a way into like honestly any trade, so it's just something I wanted to do. And you know, after all my past experience, you know, like I just knew I was a hard worker. It was just a matter of time, and I found this opportunity. I took it, and you know, it's been a riveting experience so far. I mean, like it's actually changed the way I live. But overall, gaining curiosity about it. You gotta love what you do, and you know most people. Yeah, I mean, you talk to anyone who doesn't paint, they tell you they hate painting, and you know, so you just gotta find a love for it, and which I did in some sort of way. So, you know, my whole room is repainted already. You know, stuff like that. I'm buying my own materials, doing work for other people on the side. You know, which I can't thank Johnny enough, like being open for his employees to do that, because you know, he's just trying to get us, you know, get inspired, do that work, get that experience, and since I joined, I can tell how jobs are turned around now, and you know, it's, you know, like you said, 70% of the guys who came in were barely trained. I'm fairly the newer painter, but two guys before me weren't in there much longer than I was, and the way we become now, it's actually quite insane. We're just, you know, moving in a professional manner, and you know, it's all thanks to, you know, your dad, Blue. You know, you guys kill it. You know, you really put us in the right path, and I think I see it like it's just night and day. I mean, you know, for sure. You know,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, because like when I was new, like, you know, we were never leaving the job like nothing less than perfection. So like, you know, you were told what to do, like how to do it right, constantly redo it, this and that. The best thing about painting, you can always, you know, go back and fix your mistakes. So
we're finishers, baby.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, so you can just always go back over. So
can never mess up.
Can never really mess up. You know, it's you gotta make it appealing to the eye, make customer satisfaction, and that's night and day. But you know, we don't have him over our shoulders like that anymore. Or you know, us and the guys are, really moving through and, showing confidence in our work. And that's to the point where I can buy my own materials and, feel confident to walk in my brother's home, my cousin's home, and actually be proud. And I know they'll be proud of my work. So for sure, it's definitely an opportunity. And I can only imagine if, like, people do it in, like other trades. I mean, I like see my, I see friends like who don't work, and I see friends who do work, and trades are usually the ones where they find passion for. They just, no matter which one you do, find what you love. And excuse me, people within my, like my generation, they are softening up a little bit. So, which means they like the office jobs, and there's not many people who are going to be doing this work. So, it's just another line of opportunity to, take place, and your other people's footsteps that you learn from, become part of the company, become head of the company, take over, gain trust, be that hard worker, do what you gotta do, because it's definitely a lot of money in it for us, and it's better to not be in school debt, because it's not looking bright for us. So.
Sure, man. I like you said, I think it's a great opportunity that's going to be there. It's always going to be there. I mean, technology is not going to take away labor. I mean, it's going to be an enhancer for it for sure. There's a lot of cool technologies and things that can allow you to do the job better, and just bring a better environment to efficiency and just productivity. But at the end of the day, you're always going to need people like us to go out there and get the job done. When you're trying to enhance someone's house, make the essential job of a service of labor. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with being an office worker and working in the corporate world, but there's a satisfaction that you get when you're consistently changing your environment every day. You're not standing or sitting behind a desk and fluorescent lights all day long. Like, listen to the Joe Rogan podcast. It's a great podcast. He talks about it, and it's really not a natural habitat for somebody to be in.
Absolutely.
I mean, for us, like, we get the chance to work outside. We work inside new homes every day. We work outside, in beautiful environments half the time, with beautiful homes. And you're always running into new people. And that's the best part, to me anyway, is the best gratitude I get from that job is not only seeing how happy they are when we're done our project, but the fact that I get to create a relationship with somebody new every time we go into a new customer's home. And our guys get to do the same, all right? I mean, you guys, like, who we know, you guys know. It's not like you just walk in and you're doing a job first and you don't talk to the homeowners. You guys are becoming in that relationship as well. And one thing I try to preach to our employees is, this career, it's going to open up your eyes to so many different things that you'll never have exposure to when you're sitting behind a desk all day. Like, you're going to create relationships you never created before. You're going to see new ways of living because you're walking in so many different homes. You're going to see so many new different type of just small, minute life lessons because you have to be so aware on this project, so aware of getting to the project, to the job sites, how to set them up, what goes into the detail of creating things, keeping things safe, protected, right? Working in a cohesive unit.
Materials.
Yeah, like ground create materials, but like working as a cohesive group, right?
Mm-hmm.
No procedures. Like, there's so much things that go into this job where it's not just, oh, we walk in, we slap paint all over your wall. Like, that's not what goes into this. There's so much where it's an art and it's a true profession of high level skill to have a great product. I mean, it's easy. I mean, there's companies out there that can come in and use the cheapest products, don't protect and cover any of your furniture, your floors, put one coat on your wall, have the worst products, the worst materials, and honestly, they're not even good at the trade of painting or doing carpentry and finish work. It's like, you look at it, you're like, man, there's no prep, and you get what you pay for.
Prep is tape.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And see, the thing is, when you're part of a great service, and I believe this in anything, it doesn't have to be trades. Like, if you just service, you provide a service. That could be you making somebody laugh. That could be you providing music to somebody. That could be you providing a nice clothing brand. That could be you just providing conversation. Right? Conversation. That's a service. you can get enough courage to go talk to somebody new that you don't know. Talk to somebody you haven't talked to in years. Talk to somebody you talk to every day, but bring a different topic to the table. That's a service, because you're making life more interesting. You're making life worth living for that individual, that relationship that you're bringing to. Because now you're showing them that there's something new that we can learn today. There's something new we can make happen. It's when you get mundane, you get in this process of not doing anything. And I can tell you, this career gives you all that opportunity to do so. And I'm glad you've seen it. I mean, I just remember asking, like, it's just funny because, Johnny, the one that works with us part-time, back in the day.
Brother-in-law.
Yeah, it's Nate's brother-in-law. He got Nate the job. He told me, he said, God, I know Nate, great worker, great person, dude. He'll fit perfect with the culture, man. Like, definitely ask him. I'm like, all right, that'll be great. So I hit Nate up. I asked him to come work with us. Nate's like, hey, John, like, that sounds great. I got some things going on where I'm at. Let me get back to you. I don't hear back from him for a little while. I'm like, all right, maybe he doesn't want to do it. A couple months go by. I asked Johnny, like, yeah, what's up with Nate? I was like, did he find a new job? He said, Nate's a little nervous. Like, he doesn't want to, leave his job where he's at right now. He doesn't know, like, what's the pay rate. So I'm like, all right, let me talk to him, tell him the opportunity that he can have here. Let me tell him when he's going to be paid. And I'm like, screw it. Let him just come and do 1 day with us on the job and see what it'd be like. So I hit him back up. I lay out the opportunities within the company, what the pay rates look like as you move forward within the company. And obviously they're all negotiable and things that could change depending upon what is put out. But, I'm like, look, this is what it's all about. Like, just come 1 day. Come on a Saturday. You're not doing nothing. And come check it out with us. And tell your experience. Tell me what you think. I mean, I feel like that's how I onboard you. I don't know. I mean, is it different? I just remember doing it that way. Through text.
So, I mean, yeah, you actually called me. I think, yeah.
That's right, I called you too.
You called me, and I was definitely like outlandish a little bit. I was just like, I was almost like, nah, I'm like, I don't want to do this.
I'm too
good. I was just like, I have no idea what I'm getting myself into.
Yeah. Because
I never worked in trade. I worked at a car dealership. Like, I was in restaurant business my whole, since I was 16. Car dealership, parked cars, and then I got into parts. So I
can't forget the little side modeling bit too.
Oh yeah, and that's something that I guess I still do now. So so I modeled, but it's just like the side thing that I do that helps me actually big time. Shout out to modeling, but
that's right.
You don't know many models who are doing trades, but I mean,
exactly.
I'm just going through avenues and seeing my possibilities and stuff, but I was in that car dealership, just great environment. I loved working there, but it's one of those corporate companies that just didn't want to pay, and I didn't feel like my work was valued, and so whatever, I was like, I'm just gonna work on the job, and it just so happened Johnny didn't even know we were working together at that. Like,
that's funny.
We just showed up, and Johnny's there, I'm there, and I'm like, oh shit, like, okay, cool.
That's so funny. That's right. Yeah, because he was working on the set.
Yeah, he worked that day. Sure. And we were like, oh, this guy decided to show up. I'm like, yeah. And then all I did was sand. That's all I did that day, sand and clean.
And I showed you how to cut in, though. I remember I had you paint up in the stairwell.
Oh, yeah,
And I showed you how to cut in.
Yeah. So I learned how to cut in, sand, and I kind of had an already understanding on cutting in.
Yeah.
Because, I just do art. I just know how to get the angle of the brush. But, so, I was, quick on learning on how to cut in.
Picked it up quick, dude.
Yeah.
I just remember, telling you, look, just adjust your hand this way. I'm like, how does that feel? You're like, oh, this does feel good.
Yeah, it makes so much sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and you picked it up quick.
Yeah, so that's what, I don't know, didn't do good behind a parts desk, dealing with customers on the phone and looking at a computer. It just wasn't my avenue, and, that was actually persuading me into getting into college, because I felt which I was never good in school, so why would that be reasonable for me? I don't know, I just felt like I needed those credentials to have the experience that I have now through the parts to get somewhere further. And then I just thought about the schooling, this and that, and after I did all my reasoning. I was just like, because I wasn't aware of the company I was getting myself into. I was like, even if this company doesn't work out for me, I can still it still gets me out of my environment where I can feel confident in doing another trade or trying to find another avenue.
Yeah.
And this was that stepping stone where I just did not want to leave. I felt stuck, and I was just like, shit, like
It's the worst feeling, man.
yeah, like stagnation is terrible. Don't feel that once you're stagnant, figure something out.
Make the move.
Make the move.
Make
Or
the move, man.
get a side hustle and do something. Even if you don't want to leave your job and can't find one, because you gotta keep the money coming in, of course.
Exactly.
So
You can do it the right way. You can
Yeah.
set yourself up where you're like, all right, I'll tough it out for
mhm.
another year or two, buckle down, not eat out. You know.
Yeah,
Meal
yeah,
prep
that's
all
for
my
sure.
foods.
And I didn't pick that up until I came here, and I'm actually valuing the dollar because I know the productivity that I'm pushing out. So that's the money that's coming in,
Yeah.
and it's like, you just start to realize, like, you should just see my phone. Like, one thing I noticed recently, I got like this update from my iPhone, and it said productivity time 4 hours per day. So now I'm on my phone 4 hours per day versus being on my phone 8 hours
It's
per
amazing.
day. And I don't even I don't even think about looking at my phone. Like, I used to tweet like 20 tweets a day, and now I don't even tweet no more, like, because I just kind of just value my time, and I'm just like, I'm telling you, like, I don't know if it was just painting or whatever, the company, or I just value time a lot more. And that the social medias and stuff can be very distracting. You got to focus on yourself, for sure.
Well, I appreciate
sure.
it, man. I'm
Yeah.
glad. I'm just glad it landed you to where you're at now. Like I said, it's been
Yeah, wake up call, for sure.
and it's just been a blessing to have you, man. Like I said, we want to be here with all you guys. I mean,
Oh,
like I
for
said, even
sure.
though you guys had no clue what you're doing when you got here. At the end of the day, you are what makes this company. And it's a big thing. It's a big thing for success within any company. Your company is only who your people are, and
Yeah, like, make your I mean, you're not at that point, but get your company to the point you don't know who the boss is.
like at the end of the day, you want to me, this is the way I look at it. You want to treat your employees so good where they learn their job so well they can go anywhere as they want, but they want to stay because they love working where they work at. And that's my goal. Like I said, I try to have weekly meetings with these guys. At the end of the week, ask them what they like about the job, what they don't like, what can we do different that they think will work. We go try it out. We won't try it out if it's already been tried, and we explain to it and we show the reason. We don't, you could tell me if I'm wrong, but I truly feel this is the way. I think this is what really helps us grow. But do you feel that that's the way? Like, I keep the innovation there. I don't try to micromanage, and I don't try to neglect your guys' ideas. If you have them.
Well, you're smart on the hiring process. I don't know, because you got good guys. You got some good workers.
Yeah.
So I think you can put your trust.
Do you feel like you have opportunity to present your issues if there's something going on, or your innovations?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, even if I just had an idea, and I never put my There's usually a reason behind something. Like you said, you've been in business for 17 years, so it's hard to come up with a way that's probably more innovative than the way you work, or the process that's already implemented.
Yeah.
So, I feel like you want us to be transparent, but I just don't think there's much to just be like, hey, you should do this, or
change that.
I'm just gonna keep asking questions,
Well, I'll give a perfect example. There's small things. These things that I know even you give as options. But here's a perfect example. We're hit with it the other day. Mike Teagan, one of our employees, he came up with. He said, John, do you think it'd be a good idea if we put earplugs in for when we use multi-tools, which are if anyone that's listening,
major vibrations.
yeah, if you don't know what a multi-tool is, it's like a tool that has different type of options when it comes to cutting certain materials. They come with different blades, attachments, and you could grind things down with them. You could cut things. You can make precision, cuts to fit certain moldings and things like that. Really cool stuff. I mean, you can use it for piping, so many different avenues of trades. But this tool can be extremely loud when used up against certain materials and items. So I thought it was a phenomenal idea. So we stacked everyone's utility vest with new earplugs. And the best part, that was something he input. And that's what I don't care what level it is, I always look to have that be an option for my employees. I want my employees to come to me and go, what do you think about this? Versus, oh, I don't want to tell him because if I say something, this guy might think I'm a fucking idiot for asking that question, or, oh, I don't want him looking at me different and now he's going to treat me like crap, or whatever it may be. I want my employees to feel that you have all the autonomy in the world to come up with your own solutions to things that might not have a solution, maybe a new process that might be a little bit more efficient, better, and I'm willing to test it if it hasn't been tested before. And I don't have a great explanation to say, look, this is why we don't do what we do, you know? That's my goal, and I feel like, is that something that's, I mean, I feel like it's there.
No, I think you're, like, you make it very clear that we can be open with you guys. Like, there's no sense of holding back, that's for sure. I mean,
yeah, and I feel like we get a great opening on that with our, weekly meetings when we can get.
I mean, yeah, I think you make it clear.
But like I said, it's all about trials and tribulations. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of this is no, for all of us, and
for sure.
It's just really cool to be a part of the growth and the new experience and everything. I envision a lot of things, but the best part is life always throws you curveballs, and it usually always works out better than what you envision it to be. So,
Just gotta put the work in. You gotta grind.
That's the biggest thing. You can't be scared of failing.
Distractions of your life.
Like my thing is, like, you can't be afraid of not having something come out the way you expect it to come out. Because I don't believe in, when I say fail, like, I don't believe in failing. I think you can always fail to move forward. I only consider it failing when you just give up on something when you know you have the opportunity, you have the capability of accomplishing it, and you're just like, I give up on it because I'm being lazy. And only you can determine that. Truthfully, if you're capable of doing that or not, or you giving all 100% what you have, and you made it happen.
It's a good
not.
beer, dude.
Oh, this is a great beer.
Oh,
You had the cherry, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I got the Boston.
Wait till you
Lager
switch
here.
it up, man.
Sam Adams. We're not sponsored by them, but
Good.
you guys need a cold one.
That's the best one to go for. I'm telling you, Sam Adams runs the beer game.
We got Boston Lager on deck right now.
Cherry Weiss?
Nate is
Or it's a cherry wheat.
cherry wheat, but I like Weiss. They might have to come up with that. Either way, cherry wheat. It looks good. I haven't tried it. I heard it's good from
That's good
Nate.
stuff.
But yeah, you guys are thirsty. Drink one. Why
Drink
not?
one.
It's Thanksgiving tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoy
Oh
Thanksgiving.
yeah, absolutely. And be safe out there.
But
Please.
definitely, yeah. Don't drink and drive.
Yeah, don't drink and drive. It's one. I mean, I guess COVID's like keeping you at home.
Yeah, I mean, COVID's trying to hide you, but talk to the turkey. If you don't know what to talk to, put a mask on the turkey. Go talk to him.
Go talk to them. Talk to the turkey.
Go talk to. I don't know what you want to do. Do whatever makes you happy, but I mean, at the end of the day, get some conversation going around the table. Do it over Zoom, whatever you can do.
Yeah, keep politics out of it.
Get the family, just incorporate it. Really, just enjoy the time. Because I think it's a blessing in disguise of what's going on this year, and I think everyone appreciates time with each other a little bit better, and I know at least I do.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that's good. I don't even know where we left off, to be honest, but this has been a blast. This is our first episode, which is crazy.
Pretty months.
I hope this turns out well, because we're posting it either way.
Don't matter.
This is the first. Like, we never really ran the recording. I did some of this shit, like, by myself. Like, alright, this sounds good. This is the first setup that we ever put.
Went freestyle on it.
We did our opening, jingle, song, whatever you want to call it.
We don't even have, like, none of it's written out. You know, it's just.
Yeah, none of it's written. It's all off the
And
dome.
we're gonna try to keep it that way. We only get better. We only fine tune our craft.
We're only gonna get better.
Yeah.
I'm just glad we jumped the gun. We kept telling each other, "Oh, we're gonna do this. We're gonna start the podcast."
Yeah.
Like I told my buddy Steve Lisk, I hope he's still gonna be my partner on this with me and Nate. But I was like, "Yo, Steve, podcast is coming." I know I have been telling a lot of our followers on Instagram, it's coming. And we've just been so busy. We really have, but at the end of the day, we still can do a lot on our own to, really just, put this stuff out there. And
it's a motivating factor that we got it done too.
yeah, I'm just
So
excited.
just
we got
make
it
us
done.
hop on it again.
Yeah.
It won't take much time,
Yeah, I'm excited. So I really am looking forward to your guys' comments, your inputs. Trash us if you like. Let us know if you hate our song, if you love
Oh
it.
yeah, definitely comment the song, the intro.
Tell us if you don't want to hear us anymore. That's great. Just don't listen to us because
Yeah.
we're coming.
We're still coming.
We're still coming, but
But
either
we
way.
do like constructive criticism.
Yes, we do. And it's been phenomenal. This was a good one, Nate.
Yeah, it's a good one. Cheers.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. We will catch you guys on the next one. Take care.
Straight to the point.
What else you think? What did you say?
Can you hear me? Loud and clear.
There we go. Loud and clear.
Welcome to the East Coast Trades Podcast. Let's get it rolling.